What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Bodybuilding and Bollocks, episode number 6. I'm here with my boy Luke, and Luke has a new microphone, so
hello.
So when we can all hear him now, and I don't have to fucking listen to you guys bitch about.
Also, you'll be able to hear me cough more. I've worked out. You know, I had a little bit of a tickly throat last week.
Yeah, what's up with that?
It's because it's Monday. I train legs on Monday, and Monday is pretty much the only day where I really fucking grunt. And it makes me for the whole day. So when I talk a lot, it tickles my throat.
So we should film on Tuesday then.
No, it's fine. Monday's good.
So we were trying to discuss microphones, and Luke said that it looks like I'm sucking a cock because of the way my microphone's sitting.
Well, no, your wife said when it's pointing down. It looks
well, the thing is,
you're sucking a cock and you're not good at it. It's fucking about it.
This is the thing. See, I originally had it like this. If you go back to like episode 1.
So that's when they're not aroused. You're trying to arouse them.
So I had it like this, and I fucking play it for my wife, and I'm like, "What do you think?" She goes, "Your podcast is good, but it kind of looks like you're sucking a dick." I was like, "Okay," so I changed it to this, and now you're telling me this looks bad too. So what the fuck?
No, they both look great. I mean, it just depends on if you're good or bad at sucking a dick, and I think that if you're going to be upright, it should be upright.
So it should be aroused.
Yeah, I think so. You don't think?
What's going on, man? How's your prep going?
Yeah, I feel good.
Yeah?
Yeah, Chris is crazy.
Why?
Well, I sent him my weight yesterday. I was so I've gone down from 270 when all that the Tampa rebound. You just feel like crazy. All that water's gone. So I was 263 yesterday.
Yeah.
Same again today, and he's like, right, I want you back up at 270, and then we're going to come down, which is cool. But
yeah,
because I think he just wants to keep me really big rather than because I thought I took all the 99% of the body fat off.
Well, I know what he's doing. How many weeks you got left?
4.
Yeah, so all he's doing is trying to keep you as big as possible before, because he knows you're going to come down really fast.
Yeah, that's true.
So he's probably
so it's very different. I'm enjoying it. So it was actually quite nice to train legs today and actually be quite strong.
It's nice to be able to eat up and not just have to coast. Because some coaches will put you at like let's say your 1 week out weight is like 260.
Yeah.
Some coaches will bring you to 260 and then just fucking keep you there for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's a nightmare for me. Like that's the coasting into a show is the absolute worst thing for me. I want to see the scale going down or up or something. I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
think Chris sees how I look at my lightest, and he's like, "Well, that's the best you can be." So probably take me up to 270 again.
Yeah.
And then when I drop down to 263, 262 again, I'll look better than I do at this weight now. So
it's funny to people listening that haven't competed. It's like we're talking about like a 5 to 10 pound difference, but they don't understand like how dramatic it feels.
Yeah.
To be 270 versus 260.
Yeah, it's huge because that 7 pounds is just fullness and water, and when your muscle is just full and like you just feel fucking awesome.
Some people probably think that, well, why don't you just keep pushing it? Why don't you go below 260? Why don't you go to 255 or 253 or 2?
Because I was there 2 weeks ago, which made this new, and I know if Chris wants to aggressively drive me out, or whatever he plans on doing, and like restricting things a bit longer or carb depleting us or whatever he wants to do, I know he is absolutely eyes on condition, but he wants to be bigger. And
the point I was trying to get to though was what people don't realize is you can only go so far before your body starts to look worse.
Yes, exactly. So he gets me to right at that point where if I go any deeper right there and then I'll look worse.
Yeah, but like you hear people online go, man, that guy should be like they'll see a show and they'll say that guy should be 5 pounds lighter, and I'm like, yeah, but if that guy was 5 pounds lighter, he'd probably look like a noodle.
And the other thing is as well, it's like if you say 5 pounds lighter to get the last 5 pounds of body fat off.
Yeah,
a lot of the time that can fuck up your look real bad.
So listen to this. I just had this conversation with a client of mine. This is something I think people will be interested in is you're only as lean as your fattest body part.
Yeah. So
what I mean by that is when I was working with Hani in 2011, my glutes were shredded, but only at the bottom. He was trying to get that like full butterfly effect, like all the way around. And the rest of my body was peeled. And you can only push your body as hard as your weakest body part. So he's trying to get that top part of my glutes shredded, the harder he pushed me, the smaller my legs got. And he just kept pushing and pushing until finally I said to Hani, I said, look, man, look, like we can keep trying to get this little piece of my glute shredded, but I'm losing my legs in the process.
Which is exactly why, you know, that everyone says, oh, just another couple of pounds off.
Yeah.
Like, did they know for a fact, does anyone, because we do, because we've been through it, if you try and get those last few pounds off, as you said, it can fuck up your actual muscularity, which is way worse for your physique.
Yeah, because everybody has a weak body part. So if your weakest body part is your back or your arms or your legs, for me it was always quads. So if he pushed me too hard, my legs would flatten out, and then I would just look like shit.
Yeah, so if you had those striated glutes, because you'd lost your quads, you would look worse than if you just had a tiny bit left with more fullness up.
That's right. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, for the guys listening that are competing, you got to push yourself only as hard as your weakest body part. And then what me and Hani did was, the following off season, he said to me, I need your legs to double in size, because if they're going to disappear, we got to make it so that when they shrink to the point where they're even. Do you know what I mean? Like, he wanted my legs so much bigger than the rest of my body that if they were going to shrink, it would only shrink so much.
Well, the other thing that people don't also understand is we are absolutely trying to get as peeled as possible every time.
Yeah.
And when people say, just get grainy or whatever the fuck it is, we're fucking trying. That's what we're trying to do, but not at the detriment of the muscle. But it has to be a balance. But you just got to keep. It is a question of that final chipping away. It is the last bit, and all of us are trying to get rid of that last bit.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing that you said, is at the expense of holding on to your muscle. Anybody can get grainy if it didn't matter how big we were. You just eat less food and keep getting shredded until you were like, you know, there's nothing there. But we're trying to hold on to 260 pounds while getting shredded. So that's the problem. It's not just like we can't lose the weight. We can lose the weight, but we need to hold on to all that fucking muscle.
The thing is as well, people have given me unnecessary flack for tempo, because my fucking glutes are all the way up.
Yeah.
And my lower back is dry as a fucking nun. Everything is crisp. But everyone, because I'm stood next to Dexter, everyone's like, you just need to be harder. I was like, you didn't, if you saw me in person, you wouldn't be saying that. But
I think it's also people don't understand too, that if you're a little flat, you're not going to have that hard look.
There is that as well. I was flat, but I'm not using that as an excuse. It's just, you know, I'm not even saying any of this as an excuse. I know we can get in shape.
Yeah,
Trying to show people that it's. Time is a good example. I wanted to be so much drier that I lost what made me good. I lost my strength quest of that. So I now know there is a balance somewhere where I can get that, but I also need to be fuller. And I think Chris has that information. He knows exactly what he's doing, and this is why the process of me going into the Olympia is different, because he knows now how to do both.
Have you thought about the Olympia further and where you see yourself?
Same.
Top 5?
Yeah.
Top 5?
I think so. I mean,
how do you feel about Brandon? How do you feel about Brandon right now?
I think Brandon will win.
I have Brandon winning. I've never seen. Listen, I've been doing this for 20 fucking years, and I've seen guys come and go. I have never seen somebody make the type of progress, the type of gains he's made in the last 3 years.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane. And it's not only that he's put on a lot of muscle, he's been able to keep his shape.
Yeah, I mean, well, he came on. I do another podcast with the Size Game, and he was a guest on that. He's been on twice.
Yeah,
and he said the main differences is they make sure, because he was basically, I went in my home, I'm quite casual, you know, I don't eat much meat, blah 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 blah. And he says in Kuwait, they just made him do everything the best bodybuilder in the world should be doing, nutrition wise, training wise. They like kick his ass every day. He makes sure he eats 10 ounces or whatever it is of meat every meal without fail. Yeah. And you know, when you get somebody as incredibly gifted as Brandon, and you give him the ability and the means to work like that, what happens?
Well, I mean, it's also on him to be able to handle that. I mean, I'll be completely honest. If you put me in a fucking desolate room and you were like, look, you're just going to eat and fucking work out and you have no life.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I think I'm going to go home, man. I don't think I want to sit here without my family, without my friends, without my wife, without it takes a special person to kind of fucking do that too.
Yeah.
So
I think it's because he knew he could legitimately be the best in the world.
I know that, but there are people that know they can be the best in the world and still won't do it. I'm telling you, I'm one of them. If you said to me, and I don't think he gets enough credit for that, because people are just like, oh, they're giving him special gear and blah blah blah, and that's why he. Honestly, I think it takes a special type of drive to be able to say, yeah, I got 4 kids, I got a wife, I got to fuck it, I don't need to be here, and this is what I'm doing, and like stick to it for 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, but in doing so, he is also providing for his family by doing.
Yeah,
okay, it's a sacrifice, but it's a blood sacrifice.
Yeah.
So it sounds like prison to me.
Well, but that's the thing. That's what I'm talking about. So you see Dexter in 6th.
Yeah.
Who do you see in front of you then? Who's left? We got Brandon winning.
I mean, I'm saying I want to be in the. I want to win it. I want to I don't know. I think I could be anywhere from 6th to 3rd. I think. Yeah.
Who do you see in the top 3? Bonac, Brandon.
Yeah, same as the Arnold. Same as the Arnold in the top 2. Brandon, Bonac, and Brandon will take it, and then I could, if everything's perfect, maybe creep up. But I don't know if they'd give me that anyway, like you said. But so he'll be in 3rd. You know, it's
okay. Predictions are boring. I have a more important question.
Nice.
What, you know me, I don't like to just talk bodybuilding. I'm curious. I've never been in your position. Okay, I've never been in a position to be in the top 5 at the fucking Olympia. So that's a feat in itself. Right. But even when I just did the Olympia my first time, or did the Arnolds or whatever, it's a lot of fucking pressure. How are you handling that? You seem like you're handling it no problem. It doesn't seem like
it's because it's what I want to do.
Yeah, but
I'm literally doing what I want to do.
Yeah, but it's what I wanted to do too.
Is what I'm getting, so I have it and I'm doing it. I don't know. I don't feel like there's any pressure because I'm not being forced. It's I just want to do this. I'd be doing it anyway.
Yeah, but pressure is not force. So what I mean is this.
No, I mean it's it's hard to explain because.
No, let me finish for a second. So I wanted to do the Olympia. I wanted to do the Arnold. It's always something I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. But I still felt pressure. It's not because I was forced. It's not because I felt like I had to. I wanted to. Just the pressure comes from this. And I'm not trying to add thoughts into your brain. I think you're mentally strong enough to handle them anyway. But the pressure came from, okay, if I place here, I'm going to get this afterwards. If I place here, this contract is going to come to me. If I do this, this will happen. So you start to play this little game where your placing your whole life afterwards start to revolve on around your placing.
Yeah, there is that. I mean, it doesn't affect me too much because everything's going to be improved anyway. So it does play into my head a little bit, but to me, again, it's just that's more. It's not an afterthought because obviously this is my job now. But it's not the be all and end all to me. It doesn't add any pressure. It adds more incentive. It adds more I've got to fucking smash it, you know?
Yeah.
It does give me that little extra incentive. Actually, I'll take it back. It does.
Well, it sounds almost, if I had to guess, and it sounds almost like it's a confidence issue. Your confidence seems a lot greater than mine was.
Yeah.
When I was, competing at these bigger shows, I was always a fucking nervous wreck.
Yeah.
Going into the bigger shows. And that's probably why I was never able to bring my best to the show because I was too fucking nervous. But it seems like almost a confidence issue that you're confident in your abilities, so it doesn't really affect you that much.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I mean, for me to admit that sounds very cocky.
No, confidence is not
no,
cocky.
No, but some people. Well, it varies from person to person. It depends on how they perceive what you're saying. Well, I believe I'm good enough for what I'm aiming to achieve.
Yeah.
I haven't said anywhere that I can win the Olympia. I can.
Do you think it's not cocky, man? Don't worry about that. Who cares about that shit? Do you think confidence comes from early on, or it comes from what you're doing now? What I mean is Do you think people's confidence comes from like the way they were raised and their upbringing and all that, or do you think people's confidence comes from you've built this thing and you have worked in a way that you built your confidence with your physique?
Well, I was raised with very little confidence. It was never instilled in me. Everything was, why are you doing that? What's the fucking point? Get a proper job.
Yeah.
You know, so I was always kind of told that it was just a waste of time.
Yeah.
And now I know I can not just do quite well, I can do really fucking well.
Yeah.
And that I am enjoying anyway.
So would you say that your confidence, okay, like when we competed at the Arnold,
yeah,
you were 7th or 8th, I think?
Yeah.
So do you think your confidence has grown because you proved it to yourself? Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, leading into the Arnold, I was like, this year, I was like, fuck yes, it's coming together. And Chris was like, fuck yes.
Yeah.
And it did come together really well. And everyone was like, oh shit. And then I was like, and I was kind of a bit like, see, I've told you I'm not shit. I do belong there because I've fucking told you. And then I shut a lot of people up.
Yeah.
And also,
you disappeared for a second. Say that again.
They're the only stage pictures I've ever seen of myself where I've gone, fuck, I look really good there. And to me, that blew my mind. So I saw kind of what I hoping I would see. Like, you know, when you envision what your finished product would be.
Yeah.
I can see that kind of coming now. It's not there, getting there, but so because I saw that, and then I got so much good feedback.
Yeah. I
was like, okay, now I know it instilled in me exactly what I need to do, and if I do it, I'll get there.
Yeah. I gotta say, I talk a lot about trying to be more positive, but a lot of my career was built on spite.
Yeah.
Like when you said you shut people up, is that something that's always in the back of your head? Like coming up, you're like, I gotta, is it spiteful kind of like?
Oh, I mean, there is that. Yeah. Oh, fucking hamstrings was cramped. Oh, you fucker. Yeah. I mean, yeah, there is some of that degree of fuck you. But it's not a motivation. It's more just kind of just hovers there, really.
Yeah. For me,
I think that kind of cool motivation is when you're in your really dark places and it really fucking hurts.
Yeah.
Do it. That's when that comes in handy.
Yeah. 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 So you learn to channel your hate, channel your negative energy.
Yeah, in a way. Yeah. And I think I've started to do that more in my training. Like I don't know why in the last kind of year, I've been able to do so much more in one set than ever before, ever. I don't know how.
What do you think about shit during your set or before your set starts?
As soon as I finish the set, I don't remember I've done it. It's like
I know that, but before the set starts, anything?
No, I don't think anything.
I used to play shit in my fucking head.
My mind was completely blank, and all I do is imagine that I've already done it, and then all I remember afterwards is me imagining that I've done it. It's weird.
Really?
Yeah. So it's like I don't remember anything. It's like it blurs as I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And then, but no, I'm able to put more aggression into it, I think.
I always got to think about something that fucking pissed me off. And I don't mean like, oh, somebody pushed me in my childhood. I mean, like, I would think about somebody that beat me the previous show.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that does play into my mind a little bit.
I think about some of that shit when I'm in the gym. Yeah. I need to stir up those emotions. You know what I mean? I can't fucking train if I'm happy.
Yeah. The other one is, it's like, this isn't so much financial, but I'm thinking, if you fucking fail, you will not get what you've worked for.
Yeah. You know what? That's a good point. You know what's funny? My wife used to go to the gym with me way before when we met. And when I was training, I would think I want to give her all the things she wants.
Yeah.
And it would make me work harder because I wanted the financial security. And recently she started coming to the gym with me again. Okay. And it's kind of reinvigorated that same thought process. I never considered that was a thing, but it's actually a driver. It's actually a motivation to think. I mean, you probably think about it with your son or whatever. Like,
yeah, he has recently started actually playing into his head a little bit. When you know you can provide for the people you love doing this.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean by pressure. I mean, the difference between second, third, fourth, and fifth, you're talking about tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, you are.
You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
people don't factor that in either. They're like, well, Luke, why couldn't you get more shredded? You would have been third. And you're like, trust me, I wanted the fucking $100,000 check. Like, yeah. So
it's true. But I don't treat it as pressure. I treat it as just incentive, more fun. It adds fuel to the fire more than like blowing it out. If that makes sense. It makes it more enjoyable because it's not. I used to do this for my own pleasure. That's still there.
Yeah.
Then there's that I can provide myself with a good living and those around me.
Yeah.
I love my family, my kids, everything.
Yeah.
And if I really fucking go for it, I can not just do pretty well, I can do really fucking well, better than I thought I could ever achieve. I never thought I would ever even get anywhere near that.
Yeah.
Doing what I already love.
Do you think anybody good? I don't think anybody does it and doesn't enjoy doing it if they're still doing well.
Yeah.
Like I can't even all this time later, if like I want to compete next March, it's not for financial reasons. I mean, no. I'd like to win and get a check. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's not, that doesn't factor into it. Like I would go do something else if it was just for the money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So because that's always there.
Yeah.
I think when people think, oh, you're just doing it for the money now. No, you still have, that's just extra. Yeah. It's not that's all building upon the original intent, which is for yourself.
Well, it becomes a factor, of course. I mean, look, when you're talking about like winning the Olympia is $400,000. I mean, that's you can buy a home, you could do whatever. Like there's
I mean that's life-changing money.
If anybody said it's not a factor, they would be lying. You know what I mean? But it doesn't lessen your love for the sport.
Yeah,
it just means you're considering another part to your life.
Yeah. Exactly, especially it's. I don't think I'm chasing a pipe dream by trying to get to where I want to be.
No, not by any. I would tell you if you're shit. If you're shit, I would tell you you're shit.
I know you would, mate.
What do you think of? I heard rumblings about The Rock having a show next year that's going to pay more than the Olympia.
Yeah, I've heard that.
What do you think of that?
Sweet. I've also had the sponsors are Under Armour and Ford.
Oh yeah,
I saw that.
That's really good for the sport, man.
I saw that on something on Instagram. Yeah.
I still don't think people are worried about it because they're like, well, does that mean it's going to be more important than the Olympia?
No.
And I think the thing they don't understand is I don't think money is what makes the Olympia special.
The other thing is, do you really think the guys who run the Olympia are going to let The Rock outprice them?
Yeah.
No, fuck that. So do you think, say they say we're going to give away $700,000 across the whole Olympia, they're going to give away $2 million. So are AMI. They're not going to be outbid. They're going to want to keep up, and it's just going to help bodybuilding in general because a lot of the other shows may start increasing their prize money because it's a fucking embarrassment. Some of the time.
I don't think the other shows have. Listen, I promote shows.
Yeah.
I don't think the other shows have the money. Like I know people say this all the time.
No, I meant the Arnold and the Olympia in terms of like not the smaller tier shows.
Oh, you don't mean like the smaller shows?
No. I mean the big three. So if the one.
Well, Arnold can afford it. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure.
AMI can afford it also. Yeah.
Or even just an extra $500,000. And I'm not saying for the winner of the Olympia.
You mean overall?
In all of the categories.
Yeah.
Not like and it's. I think if The Rock does that. And he gets that kind of sponsor. But the other thing is, if he does that, some of those big sponsors may cross over to the Olympia.
Yeah.
And then they would go. All it's doing is putting a really good, positive spotlight on bodybuilding, and I think that's great.
Yeah, I don't think it could be a negative in any way. I think people are just trying to create the drama of, what's going to be more important now, the Rock show or the Olympia?
Yeah.
And as a bodybuilder, it's like, who gives a shit?
Do you reckon they're going to give away a car? Like a Ford car?
What's that?
Because the event's sponsored by Ford.
Yeah.
You think it'd be like an old school show when, like the Arnold, they give you.
They should do that. I miss when they used to do that.
Ford, like Ford 250, F250 or something.
When Arnold used to give away a Hummer, that was fucking awesome. That was the first Arnold I went to. They gave away the yellow Hummer to fucking Ronnie.
Sick.
Anyway, listen. I have did you go online and look at any of the questions at all or anything about the people left?
The what? Did you make a post?
Yeah, I got some here. We can go through mine. Well, we can go through mine. It's all right. I like it when it's a surprise better. It's better than planned out questions.
You're still gonna look. Where is it? Is it in one? Is it your gay selfie? Is that the one? Yeah.
I know how much you like selfies, so I took that one for you. I should have put your. I made that one about our show.
This picture.
Yeah. What about it?
That's sick.
Yeah. I wish I could have stayed that size.
You look sick there.
That was my favorite. It's fucked up because people are like, man, you look so good right now. And I honestly feel like I look better when I was like 240. But you just can't. Like back in that, like that was 2009 or 8. That was 2008, that picture.
Yeah.
And back then, if you weren't fucking big, you weren't going to win a show.
Yeah.
So I had to, I had to put the fucking mass on and change my physique. Anyway, all right, I'm going to go through some questions here. You ready?
Yeah.
Is Luke going to move to the USA with Ben? Yeah, what's going on with Ben? Ben moved to Texas?
Oh, no, Ben's moving over there because he's met somebody and it feels good to him to go there. And he's always wanted
to. He moved for a girl.
No, he's always wanted to go.
Yeah.
This is his personal life. Fuck it, is out there now. I think he just wants to go there because he has a legitimately good reason to go there now. So.
What?
He fucking hates it, even though it's great.
You can't go anywhere. You got kids here, or where you're at.
Well, exactly. I mean, I think what I may do, depending on my placement this year, let's just say I do get 5th or 4th or whatever, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I apply for next year, which means I'm guaranteed the Olympia next year. So when, so I can, negotiate maybe fly out and do my contest prep for the Olympia in Florida. Just those 3 months.
Yeah.
So I'm here for the rest of the year for my kids, and then it doesn't affect them too much. They can even fly over for a couple of weeks during that time. So
that's right. Yeah.
So that would be something I'd be willing to do, and
that would be pretty crazy. You'd probably be training at Flex's gym, I assume.
Yeah.
That'd be a good prep.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I'd be completely okay with that.
Yeah. Mr. Brandon Beckrich asked us a question. He wants to know what
you just write rotisserie.
He wants to know your thoughts on rotisserie.
It's my favorite way of chicken.
Explain. All right, for those of you who don't know, explain. This is a little kind of inside joke, but explain to people what rotisserie is, and it's not about chicken. For those of you who don't know, I'm sure a lot of you do know.
Well, this came from you, I think. So it's a sexual innuendo. So we're talking about a spit roast. Everyone knows what it is. I don't need to go into detail. If you don't know what a spit roast is, go on Google. If you're over the age of 18, and spit roast sounds quite.
That sounds gross.
Sounds a bit gross. And then you said in Canada that we call that a rotisserie. And it just sounds way more pleasant.
It does sound more pleasant.
And then we just went and then we kept seeing all the signs in the supermarket.
You still haven't explained what rotisserie is.
Yes, it's the same.
But I don't think you got to explain it to people.
Well, that's you, mate. You're the disgusting Canadian that calls it a rotisserie. So
okay, for those of you who don't know, it is when two guys and a girl have sex, and the guys are on either end.
Yeah. So the girl's bent over. One of the men is fornicating with the female from behind, and the woman is thus performing fellatio on the man opposite.
Oh, it's so professional. It's like the technical terms.
Yeah. Thus giving us the rotisserie.
Have you ever been involved in a rotisserie, Luke?
I haven't,
no.
Me. I don't share food or girls, so no.
What's that?
I don't share girls or food.
No.
No.
All right. But do you think it's a good thing? Would you want to be in a rotisserie?
Maybe if there's two people I didn't really know that well, yeah. Fuck it. I need to put the light on because for some reason it looks like
I was going to say, I'm like, why are you sitting in the dark?
I don't know. Put the light on. It's weird.
Okay, so you would like to try a rotisserie?
I'm not anti that. Are you?
I don't know. It's like
why not? Fuck it. I mean, I'd try anything once within reason.
Do you think being in a rotisserie makes you gay at all?
No. Only if the man's in one of the guys are in the middle, then.
Yeah, if the guy's in the middle, you have a problem.
But other than that, no, I don't think it is. No.
Would it be? Let me ask. Would you rather it be a close friend, or would you rather be somebody you don't know?
Probably somebody I don't know.
It would be weird.
A close friend, that'd be gross. Don't get me a fucking brother. That's the one porn that I've never understood.
What's that?
Many that I don't like as well. Is like the twins porn.
Like I don't think I've ever seen it.
Or like identical twin girls, or the mom and daughter thing. That's horrible.
Why?
Because it's the mom and daughter one's the worst, but it's a mom and daughter and a guy.
Yeah, the mom and daughter one's kind of fucked up. But what's wrong with two twins?
Well, that's two sisters.
Yeah, but they're not going to bang each other. Are they banging each other?
No. When they get involved with a guy and they're all getting involved with each other.
Yeah, but are the girls touching each other?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, it's fucking gross.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah, and
yeah, but it's fantasy porn. That's like for people that like that taboo shit.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that's fine. Most of it's really good, but that's just it's the sisters bit, the bit of incest that's just sliding.
Just a bit of a pinch of incest.
a pinch too much incest for me.
What? Okay, what's your porn of choice?
Anal. What?
I don't know why do you even fucking ask that. I don't even fucking ask that. Isn't it? Is it anal? It's too much though, anal, because girls don't bang like that, even if they do bang anal.
I can't comment on it. This is why I can't move to Florida.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Your turn.
Probably big boob porn.
Yeah.
I mean, you should have guessed.
Okay, I like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think.
What's? Let me ask you this. Better question. I got a better question. What's the most fucked up porn that you've ever watched and actually enjoyed?
I don't say this. I don't think I can say it. Yeah, but you know how it is when you're like, right. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but you know when you're like a teenager or when you first do your first cycle of test and your sex drive goes from 0 to 6 billion in like 2 days.
Yeah.
It starts getting to the point when you start watching stuff that's a little bit on the edge of weird.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's that fantasy shit that you wouldn't actually.
You'll start watching like tentacle porn or something.
Yeah, like you wouldn't.
Like hentai monster, like ripping a girl in half, and she's loving it and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then you're loving it, and then afterwards you're like, what have I become?
I know. And it's not long afterwards. It's like.
Yeah,
it's like instantly.
It's like when you restart a computer, when the computer's good, really quick. And it takes a while. So that's what it's like when you restart a fresh Apple Mac. And it restarts within seconds. That's what it's like. That's when you start watching the weird shit.
So you don't want to divulge your.
Oh, I don't want to divulge it, and I'm sure you wouldn't either. And this was yours, like really big boobs.
No, that's normal.
No, I'm talking like, you know, the ones when they look like a beach ball off each breast.
Yeah, that's normal. Right. For me. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, no, anyway. Okay, we'll leave that one alone, just so we don't.
Well, why am I getting the questions? You haven't answered any of this shit.
You haven't asked me anything.
Oh, yeah, you said big boobs. Boring.
You're selfish. You just want to field all the questions.
I'm going to punch my dog in the face. He has been barking. He's been quiet as anything. Shut the fuck up.
All right. We'll lock him up somewhere.
No,
okay, I got a good one. We'll change topics. I got a good one. And this is actually, I'm really interested in what you have to say.
Okay.
What would you rather have, Lionel Beyeke's physique or Flex Wheeler's?
What?
Yeah.
Flex Wheeler's?
No. Nope. No way.
Okay.
I'm just saying, my opinion, no way. This is why. If you actually look at Lionel Beyeke's physique and put it next to Flex Wheeler's, if Lionel got as shredded as Flex Wheeler, like a young Flex Wheeler, I don't think anybody could beat him.
Yeah, but that just goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the episode. Maybe.
What's that?
The whole he's trying to get down.
Yeah, but we're playing a hypothetical. So imagine they're both peeled.
Yeah, maybe.
Because to me, he seems like a Flex Wheeler, but bigger.
Yeah, I mean, he is phenomenal.
Yeah. I'm absolutely blown away by Lionel's physique. I'm like,
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like a shitty fan because I watch and I'm like, why can't you just get shredded?
Yeah.
Because I think if he got peeled, he'd be very hard to beat.
Yeah. It's the same like Cedric, even though Cedric is peeled.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone always says, "Oh, Cedric's not peeled." Well, he is.
Isn't it weird with Cedric though? He can have like shredded glutes.
Yeah, and hams.
And hams, but like kind of a softer midsection. Like it's really strange. Yeah. All right. So Flex Wheeler, right?
I mean, maybe I've jumped the gun, and maybe I have to go back and do some comparisons.
Yeah. Someone's gonna get mad at you for not holding your position. Remember like last time?
Well, no, I'm still sticking with Flex Wheeler. It's Flex Wheeler, and Lionel Beyeke isn't Flex Wheeler.
Well, yeah. If we're talking about who they actually are, yeah, Lionel had.
Who they are, like everyone is. If Flex Wheeler is known for being one of the best of all time, and Lionel isn't.
No, I know that, but if that's what I'm saying. If we're talking about the reality is Lionel just has not been able to get shredded when he added all that muscle. So if we're taking the reality into the equation, then yeah, of course it's Flex Wheeler without saying.
Like, I'm going to disagree with you, but I am going to go and check out the two and compare them because you might be right.
No, I'm agreeing with you based on reality, but what I'm saying is,
we've become too politically correct now. Listen, you prick. We've let the YouTube comments get to us.
All right. Listen, so I got another question here from Carlos.
Right.
Oh, this stuff drives me nuts. Where do you draw the line between dedication to the sport versus narcissism and selfishness?
That's just when your personality changes and your personality becomes, like when you get to the point. If you get to the point where you're putting yourself before your friends and family at times when you really don't need to, if you're neglecting the very basics, if you're not being there for them, if you're not balancing it when you can, if you're not just doing the basics of what a relationship should be, and you can't do that, then that's when it becomes narcissism, I think.
Well, I am narcissistic as fuck then, because
that's fine.
When I'm prepping, I can't. I'm a selfish motherfucker.
Yeah.
Especially like if you took like the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
That's why I look at people when they have kids, and I'm like, man, that guy.
Well, I actually had this conversation with my son's mother yesterday. With Carl. And she was like, "You're really different. This whole year you've been. I wouldn't even know you were in prep if you didn't have your meals with you." And I think it's because I've learned to not let what I'm doing and I also enjoy what I do, and I get paid for it now. I'm not going to let that impact those around me.
Yeah, I mean it's a little different. You can't. I don't think you can. I don't think you have a choice.
I used to be in a fucking mood. I used to snap at him, or like she used to. I would always just be grumpy and like quiet with him, but now I'm not at all.
Really, with your kids?
Yeah, I'm not at all. No.
That's surprising. I would have never guessed that. Yeah. Where was the change? How did you go from?
I honestly don't know. I just.
Well, because I'm trying to learn. Like I'm going through that now, but I still.
I think it's just it's something you have to think about so much it becomes habit.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
It becomes normal though. It's not. I think you have to. I also think it's one thing I've kind of realized is you never know what everyone around you is going through and what they've got going on.
Oh, I'm not saying.
I know, and it's like, and I also when I'm a grumpy bodybuilder, I'm grumpy to these people. Make their day even worse. You don't know. Why am I snapping at them? It's like they can have shit going on too, and so I always that reminds me and helps me to just be nice to everyone in a way as well.
No, everything.
It sounds like bullshit. But
it doesn't sound like bullshit. Everything you're saying makes perfect sense.
It goes back to just treating people how you would like to be treated. And when you're miserable and grumpy, if people being like polite and nice to you would make you feel better, then.
See, I know everything you're saying is right.
Yeah.
But I think I'm the everyman. Like I'm the average bodybuilder.
Right.
I don't think the average guy thinks like you think. I think the average guy is a little bit fucked up like me. So that's why I think we're all trying to learn. I think a lot of bodybuilders would love to learn how to fucking be normal while they're still like chasing this thing.
I think the only reason I know all this and the reason I'm working on it is because I fucked it up so many times and ruined parts of my life that will never return, and lost people and along the way. They're not dead, but you know.
I know what you mean. Yeah, you're mainly talking about your ex-girlfriend.
No, I'm talking about ex-girlfriends, families, my family. Oh, okay. A lot of it has been broken down in areas, and I burned bridges due to bodybuilding. And I've got
You burn bridges with family?
Yeah.
Can you go into that or no?
Not really.
Okay.
We'll leave it. More, I mean, a lot of it is just not because of that. A lot of it's just other things. But it's Do
you have siblings?
Yeah, one brother and two sisters.
Older or younger?
All younger.
All younger.
All younger.
Oh,
Yeah.
is there any? I don't know how your culture is over there. Is there pressure being the oldest son?
No, well, I'm a half brother. I've got a different biological father to them.
Oh, okay. No. Are you close or no?
No, not really. Well, to my brother and sisters, I'm way more close than I am with anyone else in my family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really. Do they support your bodybuilding or no?
None of them have ever seen the show.
Do they see the magazines, the pictures, anything?
Yeah. They're very proud of all that stuff. I think it's cool. My family was my mum wanted to come to the Olympia.
Yeah.
Isn't coming because I didn't sort her out a ticket.
Well, why didn't you? That's mean.
Fuck off. Go and buy your own ticket like everyone else. I'm just competing. I don't just sort out the tickets.
Well, she wants you to buy her ticket. What's wrong with that?
Oh, I would have bought her a ticket if she asked. But the fact that she just expected me she was like, when's the show? Where is it? And I was like, well, you have to go on this website and book it. She was like, she didn't do it because I didn't fucking sort it out for her. That's how much she wanted to come and see her son's Olympia debut.
I think you should sort it out for her.
It's not my job to sort out.
Come on, man. She doesn't know the fucking how that shit works.
She knows the fucking date. She knows how to use a computer. She's barely even 50.
She doesn't know how to go and what the Olympia stuff's about, what seat to get, and she doesn't know the difference between all the classes and divisions.
Yes, she does. And I don't know how to do any of that either. But I would go on the site, see Men's Open Bodybuilding, and book the tickets.
I think if you don't do it, you're going to regret it.
I'm not.
Think this all the way through.
I'm really not close with my family, so I honestly won't.
Oh, so you don't give a shit? Okay. See, I was trying to be the good guy there.
No, I couldn't get less fucking. If you don't want to come, fuck you.
All right. Well, that fucking settles that. Okay, let's move on. Ben Thomas says, with all the food intake and eating when you're not hungry, and then occasional cheat meals, is acid reflux ever an issue for you?
No, I get more acid reflux when I'm starving. I don't know if that's acid reflux or just being starving. I don't really.
It's probably just being starving. I know what you mean. I know that feeling. I used to get acid reflux. Mine came from fucking sweeteners and shit and garlic and stuff like that. I used to use a lot of sweeteners, like Crystal Light. I use a lot of sweeteners and then a lot of Crystal Light and stuff. And I noticed in a prep, by the time I got to 4 weeks out, every time I fucking ate, this shit would burn. So fucking, yeah. Oh yeah. It was just because, and plus back in the day, I used to add a lot of garlic to my food too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't really use that many sweeteners thinking about it. I use a little bit of sugar-free maple syrup on my eggs in the morning.
On your eggs?
Yeah. I have
egg whites or eggs?
I have 4 whole eggs and half a liter of egg whites with a bagel for my first meal. And I put smoked salt and a little bit of calorie-free maple syrup on that.
I thought that was for the fucking oatmeal. No, you put on your eggs too?
Yeah, but it's so when you have the smoked salt on there,
yeah,
and you put the syrup on the top, it has that bacony flavor in there. So it tastes fucking amazing.
Is this tastes amazing when I'm dieting, or is this
yeah, probably. I haven't tried it off season yet.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna taste as good.
Well, actually, no. What I normally do in the off season is I drink the egg whites. And I make the scrambled egg onto the bagel, or I make egg muffin. And I put
drink the egg whites?
Sometimes, yeah. I put I put some sweetener drops in there, like white chocolate.
Yeah.
And I get out of the fridge and it just sits like a chocolate milkshake.
See, I was always told that you shouldn't drink the egg whites. Your body doesn't process it properly.
They're not raw, they're pasteurized, which means they've been cooked, so they're fine.
No, not to make you sick. It was saying that it's not
going
to...
You digest it just fine because it's technically been cooked. With raw, it's difficult, but they're not raw.
But some doctors say you can process food differently, even if it's from like boiled to scrambled. So
I mean, I think if you're doing it the same every day, there's not much variability in that. I think
I've never been able to drink egg whites, man.
Yeah, some people can't. I can just fine. Some people can't have whey. Some people can't have...
Oh no, I don't mean stomach wise. I just think it's gross. Like I can't.
Okay, well that's why I put the sweetener drops in there. So if you put like toffee in there, or you put a little calorie-free white chocolate, like the drops,
you
mix it up. It honestly just tastes like a milkshake.
What's the texture like? Is it gummy or no?
No, the texture's like, no. It's more like a milky texture.
I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, just you put some flavor in that. I mean, can you get muscle egg in Canada? I've never tried that.
I think so. Yeah.
I think that's the same kind of thing. It's just flavor.
I have tried that. That was actually pretty good.
Yeah. So,
yeah, maybe I'll give it a shot.
Well, I mean, okay. Raw red whites are fucking gross. Like, it's like snot.
Yeah, no.
The liquid egg whites, a lot of them are very runny. And not
Yeah. Okay, so for this guy with the acid reflux, all I'm going to tell you is this. To get rid of mine, you just have to start eliminating things. So just like a doctor would tell you, just you have to start eliminating stuff from your diet so that you can get to a baseline where the acid reflux starts to go away, so you can figure out what it is.
Yeah, I mean, what I would do is even simpler than that. Depending on how long you've been pushing your food for, it might be at a point where you just need to back off your food for a couple of weeks.
Oh, you think it's like he's eating too much and it's
he's just eating so much for so long, his digestive system's like, fuck off, just let me relax.
See, I would point to like a certain food that's doing it first, so that I didn't have to back off my food.
Yeah, but I think backing off your food just helps in general. I know that. I mean, that was something when I did the DC training. You blast your food and your training. And you backed up. So you push your food as really high when your training was at its hardest.
Yeah.
When you backed off into the cruise, you drop a couple of meals out, and you would reduce your intensity in training.
Yeah.
Kind of cruise for a couple of weeks, let your whole body kind of recover from the previous 6 weeks, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
And I still grew, and I maintained my appetite all year doing that. And I worked with Justin Harris at the time, and he was having me do high carb days, which is just insane.
How many carbs are your high carb days?
Like 1,300 grams.
I don't even know how the fuck you got that in. How do you get in?
Because I'd have like a packet of microwave rice and a whole banana loaf as a meal, and then my last meal would be something like I know at every cheat meal he'd say one a week was a cheat meal. I think it was like, so I could have pizza, and then the other 2 high days, he wanted me to have a very high carb, low fat meal, like a box of cereal with whey.
Yeah.
So I'd have like a whole box of Cocoa Pops before bed.
This is fucking insane, man. Listen.
Yeah, so I do that, but I would do that for about 4 or 5 weeks, get to the point where my whole body was just fucked up from the training, and my food was like, I back off for 2 weeks, just go to a really normal diet, 2 weeks, maybe 4 meals a day, back off my training, just get a pump for a few weeks.
Yeah.
I would let my body reset itself and then just blast away again. My appetite would be sky high. I could take that amount of food in for a good few weeks.
Yeah.
I just fit pretty well.
That's a good idea. Yeah. I got a question for you about something I've been seeing over and over and over again that's starting to bother me, and I'm probably the only one this is bothering. So I'm probably going to take some heat for it, but whatever. How come Dorian Yates is interested in helping everybody but bodybuilders? I know he has a couple clients that are bodybuilders, but I see him in these like...
Because it's his I would say this is his business, and they're the ones willing to pay him what he charges for his sessions, whereas bodybuilders won't pay that.
No, I'm not talking about personal training. I see him in these videos with like all these men's physique guys. You ever see like those Dark Wolf? I think it's called Dark Wolf or something like that.
Well, the only reason I'm sticking up for him is he's a story, and he was at the weekend I was in Tampa.
Yeah.
Came over to my gym and did a seminar there, and this the only one he's done for about 5 years in the UK.
Yeah.
So he is still doing a lot for bodybuilding. I think he might do a tour at some point of seminars around the country, and he's getting more. I mean, he's doing more bodybuilding podcasts as well. I mean, he was on Muscle Development one last week. I think it's just because where he lives in Marbella, there's a lot of those dickheads around him.
But do you think? I don't know. Don't you feel like he talks poorly about bodybuilding a little bit?
No, not at all.
I disagree.
Really?
I heard him on Joe Rogan's podcast a while back, and I don't know. Everything that's coming out of his mouth is like, yeah, the guys now take too much gear, and the guys now don't know how to fucking train, and
Well,
the guys now have the guts, and I'm like, okay, well, the guts started in his era, first of all.
yeah.
And what are you talking about? Guys don't know how to train. I mean, you yourself are out there fucking deadlifting 9 fucking plates and benching 200-pound dumbbells, and like, I just don't get why. I don't see Jay doing that. I don't see Kai doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe, but then he does say a lot of other things that do come across quite positive.
I'm not saying he's a negative person. I'm just saying I feel like in his comments about today's IFBB,
Yeah,
it does not feel like he's promoting it the way Jay does, or the way Kai Green does.
But he never has he? Even when he was Mr. Olympia, he didn't really.
Yeah, well, he talks really well about the guys in his era. He talks really, and I noticed that about a couple other guys in that area. If you look at like in that era, if you look at Sean Ray,
it's a bias, isn't it? It's a bias, emotional attachment. So
yeah, but that's it's such a ridiculous thing.
Yeah, I agree.
It's such a ridiculous thing to think without actually looking around at the landscape and seeing what you're talking about.
I can't really argue with what you're saying. To be fair.
I'm not asking you to argue. I'm just saying, like,
I know.
I just wish, the guy is probably one of the most loved Mr. Olympias of all time.
Yeah, I mean,
and I wish he would give bodybuilders more credit than he does. Like,
wrong, is it? He's not wrong. I think maybe he's just seeing the wrong ones. I don't know. Fuck it. I don't know. He's got that opinion from somewhere. So
yeah.
Maybe he got it. Maybe he's basing bodybuilding in general on Phil Heath.
Yeah, but even if you look at, Phil posted a picture. I got to push back on people that say that shit too, because Phil posted a picture recently. I don't know, it was last week or something like that.
Well, going back, I'm not talking the physique. I'm more talking the way Dorian did it and the way Phil did it are so different from each other, and Dorian prefers his way of doing it.
Yeah.
Not the Phil way, and that he wishes it stayed his way, which is why he doesn't like today's way. I guess it could be that.
See, to me, it's kind of like presidents. When a president leaves office, the next president shouldn't talk shit about the previous president.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's the same way about Mr. Olympias. You should always respect the next Mr. Olympia or the current Mr. Olympia.
I think they all do. I mean,
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Dorian's never said anything directly negative about any individuals, has he? He's just talking about the era.
It's not negative, okay? I'm not saying he's. I don't want people to get the wrong idea. He's not out there like shitting on everybody.
Yeah, he's just not very positive about it.
It doesn't sound very positive. Like when I heard him on Joe Rogan's podcast, I'm like, that doesn't really sound great for us. And if you're on the biggest podcast in the entire world, I think Rogan gets like 8 million fucking listens per episode or some shit. That's the time when you should be Jay Cutler.
Yeah, that there is a lot of truth into what you're saying, but I just don't agree that it came across as badly as you do.
Do you think Dorian Yates had a gut?
No.
No?
Not really.
97 Dorian Yates.
Sucked in flat, but he did have quite a thick waist, like in terms of his hips. I don't think he had a gut.
I think if you look at 94 Dorian Yates and you look at 97 Dorian Yates. Yeah, pull it up. Look at 92 to 94 Dorian Yates, and then look at 97 Dorian Yates. And when he's on a podcast saying, yeah, now they have guts. And I'm like, yeah, but that kind of started back in the 90s. Nobody in the 80s ever had guts.
It's weird because it's not a gut. It's just his waist is blockier.
Well, I'm not saying a gut like a beer belly. I mean, like the thick waist.
Yeah.
Started with.
I think, but you're describing a thick waist, and he's describing distension on stage.
Oh, now we're playing semantics.
No, we're not. They're completely different things. Like Jay Cutler had a big waist, but he had a very tight waist because he kept it under control.
But I think when people in general, like the audience, look at the waist, they don't. There's not very much discrepancy between distension and thick. They don't want to see a thick waist. You know what I mean? So what I'm trying to say is Dorian was one of the first ones with that thick waist.
Yeah, but the only thing I've got in Dorian's defense, he had a thicker waist, but he didn't ever let his gut hang out, which is the problem a lot.
No, he controlled it for sure. He controlled it for sure.
That's the problem people are having, because it's like Dexter Jackson has a small waist, but he does let it hang out. a lot.
I see. So I have a. So I have a. So wait a minute. So I have a thicker waist. So you think if I was to control my waist the entire time I was on stage, you don't think people would say anything?
No. Especially they'd say a fuckload less. I mean, look at
less.
Jay.
Less.
Yeah, they would because you'd shut the people up who are only going on about guts. There's the two camps. There's the big waist and the gut people.
Yeah.
Like different teams.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, if you look at Jay, it sounds like I'm shitting on Jay. Jay's one of my favorite bodybuilders ever. But he doesn't have a small waist, but he keeps such a great control. No one ever really bitched about his waist.
But that's because Jay's waist his actual midsection is not big. It's his obliques.
Yeah, but that's his waist. But that's what I mean. His midsection he keeps really tight and under control.
Yeah.
And even Pekulski, he was the same. He's got a fucking massive trunk, as in his waist is really big, but he was very good at controlling it most of the time. And
you know what? I'm going to disagree with you. Like,
wait. Like later when he won Vancouver that year, his waist was tiny, and that's when he brought the vacuum.
Yeah.
And then before that, it was a lot blockier, and sometimes he'd let it out.
Yeah.
So, so just by improving his midsection control, his whole waist was smaller. Like my waist when I control it looks tiny, but it's not because my waist is small. It's because my midsection is under control.
When Ben took second at the Arnold's, that's when Arnold freaked out about the thick waists. I don't think a lot of people. That was the year he lost his mind. He's like, I don't want this. He came out and he did this whole speech about, I don't want to see these fucking waists anymore. It's not attractive. This is not.
I did not. I don't remember it. I remember it. I don't remember which year it was.
I remember because that was the last year I did it, and I was like, oh fuck. And I'm like, is he talking about me too? And I'm like, so. But he did this big long speech, and it's ever since Arnold made that speech that the IFBB has changed direction and gone. But what I'm trying to say is, they've gone to a smaller waist. They don't care if your stomach's hanging out. Yeah, if you notice, they do, but the guys who are winning shows are able to have a smaller waist altogether. Well, you don't see guys with a thick waist winning shows.
Josh Lenartowicz.
What?
Josh Lenartowicz won a show this year.
Josh doesn't have a thick waist.
He doesn't have a small waist. He's not.
Yeah, but in relation to his shoulders, he has a small waist.
But most bodybuilders do.
No.
Who?
My fucking waist is like even to my fucking shoulders.
Is it?
It can be. I mean, I can't name
content shape is not.
I can't name anybody off the top of my head, okay? But what I'm trying to say, if you take Ben for example, okay? Ben's a good example, and I don't have anything against Ben. I'm just you brought him up, so it comes to mind. His shoulders were massive.
Yeah.
They're much wider than his waist.
Oh yeah.
But he still had a barrel for a little while.
Yeah, but then what I meant was when he improved that, it changed his waist wasn't smaller. He could just do a vacuum. He could just keep his midsection under control.
No, his whole body was smaller. It was because he changed his diet to a more.
No, I think it was it was the year he was smaller, but I'm sure the year before is when he started doing a vacuum in his front double, but he was still big Ben.
No. I'm telling you, it was that last year, and his whole body shrank because he started doing a lot of keto stuff, and he lost a little bit of muscle. He sacrificed a little bit of muscle to be able to bring his waist down, and it looked amazing. But I guess what the point I'm trying to make is, I don't think a lot of people want to see a thick waist either. They don't want to see a distension, but they don't want to see thick.
Yeah, they don't. But the thing is, if you do not have a blessed waist, I don't have a small waist. It's normal. It's pretty good.
Okay, I'll get an example for you.
So what I mean is, it's like if I let my gut hang out, it would look way worse. But because I keep my midsection as under control as I can when I'm on stage, people keep saying, "Oh, your midsection's great. You do a vacuum," because it's just fooling people into thinking.
I know, but okay.
I'm saying, with yourself, if you kept your actual waist, your abs tight, and didn't let your belly hang out, that's the problem people have.
Okay, this is what I'm trying to say. So if you look at Dorian Yates' side tricep. From like 92 to 97, okay?
Yeah, what you're saying.
The 97 side tricep, his chest is like even with his stomach. It's not because his stomach's hanging out. It's because his midsection got thicker. And I don't think people want to see that.
No.
People want to see your chest, and then your chest goes in, and then your stomach.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's just always about stomach distension and letting your belly hang out.
No, it's not all about that. But what I mean is, if you're not blessed with a small waist like Jay, the midsection control can really help.
I agree. But the point I'm originally trying to make is Dorian was one of the first people to have that thick waist.
Yeah.
And I feel like he should be more mindful of his comments when he's talking about present day bodybuilders having.
But again, it just goes back to is he talking guts or is he talking waists?
That's the whole point. I don't think people give a shit. I don't think people that watch the show give a shit. They don't want to see a thick waist or a fucking distended waist. You just admitted yourself in a side tricep. Nobody wants to see that like waist that like is even with the pec.
No, I know.
Yeah, but that's a thick waist.
Yeah, I know. I know exactly what you're saying. What I'm saying is the actual when a bodybuilder's relaxed and they let their belly hang out is
it's much worse.
Yeah, it just seems to because when Sean Roden, he's got a tiny waist. He did that a couple of times and he got slaughtered.
Yeah, he did. He got killed for it. Yeah, you're right. And I'm not disputing that. I guess I love bodybuilding, and when I retire one day, I will never say, "Oh, the guys in the 2000s were way better than the guys in the 30s." You know, I feel like you have to do a better job of.
But you might do because they might be shit in comparison.
I won't do it. I won't ever shit on bodybuilding because it's just not.
Neither did Dorian. You just said he wasn't overly positive. He wouldn't shit on it.
I feel like if you say guys don't know how to train and guys have guts and the guys don't work hard like I used to, that's kind of shitting on people.
Yeah, maybe. Depends how you look at it. I mean, I don't look at it that way because I just think he's overly talking about Phil Heath because he's not talking about me, and I am part of bodybuilding.
You don't think he's talking about you, but when he says to 8 million people listening, right? Yeah. When he says to 8 million people listening to that podcast these negative things, those people think he's talking about you and every other pro.
He's not, and you can just come take a look, and you can see that I'm not. that's why I don't care or like think it's that way at all. Like you can't just say magic's shit. I don't like magic and base it on the shit magician because somebody out you might see another one that's really going to impress you and change your mind back.
I guess I'm overly sensitive.
Yeah, you fucking bitch.
Fuck it, man. Okay. We'll leave it. I
think maybe this is just a confidence thing. Maybe I do bodybuilding my way, how I want to do it, and I don't really give a fuck what people think so much.
Yeah.
And I'm confident in it.
It's not going to change anything I'm doing. It bothers me because you are a fucking bodybuilding icon. Your job is to carry the fucking mantle.
Yeah.
Carry the torch and keep promoting. Your job is not to sit there and fucking shit on the guys that are doing the best they can do now.
You know what? If you asked him and said it's your job, he go, "Is it? Who's paying me to do that?" Then
they paid him for a long time.
Yeah, and then he did it for a while. His job was there. It's not his job anymore.
Okay, well that's our opinions differ there because I feel like it's your job forever.
I don't.
No.
I think Lee Haney's not overly happy because he says nothing. And I feel like that guy has been raised. If you don't got anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
I would rather somebody say nothing.
So Lee Haney is silent.
Yeah, I don't think Lee Haney's happy either.
No.
But Lee Haney can be happy. Can be that way because Lee Haney came from an era where there was no guts and there was no thick waists.
Yeah. So. Exactly. And I think it's great because bodybuilders are still huge. I mean, look what it did to Ruli's physique when he brought his waist in. He looked way better.
Yeah. I don't know how he fucking did that.
I don't either.
How did you do the vacuum? What was the way?
I just did it. I just practiced it over and over again. When I sat down, all of a sudden it clicked, and I was like, I did it once or twice. I can just do it. And now because I pose every single day for Chris, I just do it every morning.
So it wasn't one of those things where your waist started to come in more and more and more. It was like you learned how to contract it all of a sudden.
Yeah, I can contract it. Yeah.
That's my I can't figure it out.
And also the other thing is, it's like in a couple of posing videos on YouTube, I let it hang out every now and then because I'm in the gym, not on stage. I'm just eating. I don't care.
Yeah.
On stage, I try my waist is my only thing I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
My waist and my glutes.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I think Sean Roden told me when Chris and him came over last year or this year. It was this year. Sean was like, keep your chest up and just focus on your lower two abs, not your whole midsection, because you'll tire. And I did it, and then I just walk around my lower abs tight, and my chest up, and my whole midsection just stays flat. And then on the day of the show, I don't eat anything for about 2 or 3 hours before stage, and I go on stage fucking starving.
Yeah.
My midsection's just, I can't, it won't hang out even if I wanted to.
That was the best I ever looked too. You know, that go like I tried to eat. John was backstage with me.
Yeah.
And I think he kept me like 3 or 4 hours though eating anything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, John, I'm gonna flatten out. He's like, no. He's like, every hour you've looked better and better and better. He's like, we're not. He's like, you're just gonna go on stage.
Yeah, like I mean, before the night show, I think I had about three sleeves of rice cakes with jam and a load of sodium and salt, and it was so light on my stomach. I just didn't feel like anything was in there. But if I would, this is why I don't get when people go to a burger and fries.
Yeah,
they just bloated. Or when they bring out like the food backstage, they bring out a load of pizzas.
Yeah.
They haven't finished the night show yet, and they start fucking smashing pizza left, right, and center, and all their guts start blowing out.
Is it people that you think are doing well though, or guys that kind of know they're not going to place?
I think it's just everyone. I don't,
really?
Because I don't want to get anyone to get a picture of me with my fucking belly off. I never live that down.
I find it funny when I see same thing when I see guys backstage for prejudging, and they're panicking and they're trying to like, you know, they're putting honey. They're putting honey on the fucking rice cakes.
Lionel, this year when we were queued up backstage at the back of the curtain, really was eating the Snickers.
Yeah, I see that too all the time.
Queued up to go on stage eating the Snickers.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that?
Yeah, I mean, you're still going to be digesting that way after I beat you, mate.
If people want the sugar, I mean, if you want it that bad, the only thing to do would be like drink a Coke.
Yeah,
Chad used to have me sip on a Coke. Yeah. Like he'd be like, just finish a third of it while you're pumping up, just to get a little bit of sugar.
Yeah.
But I don't. If you carb load properly, I don't even think you need that. Like you don't need.
I think the most important thing for me is sodium. I think because with Tampa we cut sodium that morning.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, because I think that's why I was flat. By the night show, I'd filled out quite a lot, and I did barely eat anything apart from some rice cakes.
Yeah.
And a load of sodium.
Do you just eat high sodium foods, or do you add a lot of salt?
I eat a ton of salt every day. And
really?
Yeah, so I don't think it's a good idea for me to cut it. And hopefully it's something we'll keep it a bit higher for the Olympia, because I think Chris has kind of cottoned on the higher sodium. Like if you're going to restrict my water, keep the sodium high.
Is there a specific kind of salt or no?
No, I just use sea salt and grinder.
Okay. All right, let's go through a couple more of these and we'll wrap it up. Are people going to be mad at me, you think, for talking bad about Dorian?
Nope.
All right, this is pretty good. How has bodybuilding changed your life for better or worse?
That's my job. That's the best job I've ever had. So it's
That's it.
So it's better, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how could it be bad, right? We work out for a living.
Yeah, this is like, I mean, it's so much more work than I think people realize.
Yeah, but it's also, you know, it's funny. I said to a friend one time, I think I was dieting, and I'm like, man, I was complaining. I'm like, I don't want to go tanning, and I got to go to the grocery store, and I got to fucking do this. And he goes, you can go to my fucking job if you want. I got to go sit in this fucking place for 9 hours. And I was like, okay, I get it. I'm like, it's a lot of work, but it's like not like, it's not shit. Like a lot of people have shit jobs.
I think it's harder now when we have the amount of filming I do is a fucking joke.
Yeah, you do, eh? You got a lot of different series going on.
Yeah, 2.
Well, you got the Iron Rebel series.
No, the Iron Rebel series, the
Redcon.
The next Strength and Power, and then Ben and I do the Both Barrels, which is just more of a vlog. It's basically just this podcast on my own, me ranting at the camera and Ben filming it and asking me questions. Or me going and eating a burger or something. You know,
do you ever feel like you don't have anything else to talk about? You're like, I don't want to talk on camera anymore?
I'm pretty good at switching on. Like when the camera's on, I'm like, bang, let's go. Show business, baby.
Jevtron Fitness asks, do you do an intra workout?
Intra workout, yeah.
Well, he said because I'm John Meadows' client, he wants to know if I do an intra. Do you do an intra?
Yeah, I do cluster bomb and grunt, which is cyclic dextrin and essential aminos.
Is that it, or is there anything else in there that's important to you?
I have electrolytes, and then the rest I have like creatine, leucine, and big noise. Well, so that's the Moab and the grunt. No, the Moab, which is the HMB, which is basically just leucine. The Tango, which is a creatine blend, and big noise, which is pump shit.
Yeah. So. Do you think the pump shit's important? And I'm not trying to ask you to say anything bad about Redcon, and if you like it, that's cool. I just want to ask, do you think the pump shit is important in the intra workout since you already got it in your pre-workout?
I don't put it in my intro. It's only in my pre.
Oh, I thought you were saying there's some pump stuff in your intro.
It's all in my pre. In my intro, it's just cluster bomb, which is cycling
and essentials and hydration stuff.
And electrolytes.
Electrolytes, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, I do the intro too, and I know some people say it's not important. You're like, oh, well, you ate a meal and you don't need the intra, and I'm like, I don't think bodybuilding is about what's absolutely necessary and what's not. Sometimes it's about overloading a certain thing.
Yeah, and I also really helps me, especially in these parts of prep where I'm fucked all the time. And whilst I'm training, I've just got a little bit more in the tank.
But I'm talking, what about in the off season? Do you not care?
The off season, I have an intra workout because it's very hard for me to get that amount of calories in with food.
Yeah. See, I do it because I'm like, why train without the essentials if I can have them?
Yeah, well, there's that aspect.
Because some people are like, well,
0.02% fucking better results. Yeah. I'm gonna do it.
I think that's what separates a lot of people is they're like, well, I'm not going to lose any muscle. I had a pre-workout meal and I'm going to have a post-workout meal. I can go for.
It's not about losing or gaining muscle. It's just for me, it's about recovering and not being so fucked up the next day.
Well, I think there's an anti-catabolic effect to taking essentials during your training too.
Yeah, and also here's another huge reason that no one ever talks about. If I have an intra, I never want to eat straight after training. So if I can wait an hour and a half before I eat, that's absolutely fine.
You wait an hour and a half, that long?
No, not always, but in the
But you can if you want to, yeah.
If I want to. Like, so if in the off season I'm fucking just like legs, I want to be sick.
Yeah.
I've had a big intro, and there's no rush for food.
Yeah, well, that's the nice thing because you had your aminos, you had some carbs.
Yeah, so your bloodstream's pretty nutrient rich, so it's not nothing bad's gonna happen.
Yeah, so the answer would be if money's not an issue, definitely have an intro. It's better to have it than not have it.
Yeah,
that's the common misconception is, do I need it? Do I absolutely need it?
No. Again, these are supplements. They're just additions to our diets.
But that's what people don't understand is, no, you don't need it. But if it's going to make you, like you said, 0.2% better, then that's the goal, right?
Every little helps, which is a big Tesco slogan in the UK. Tesco is a supermarket chain. Every little helps.
All right, let's do one more. You look tired.
I'm I've got to eat soon.
Yeah. Okay. Hello, Fouad. Love your work. Blah, blah, blah. If you ever read this, can you also speak about self-esteem, self-growth, and relating to the gym and lifting weights?
That's a good question.
Can you speak about self-esteem? And well, I have, this is fucking huge for me. Like, I think without the gym, I would be fucked. Like I'd be a totally different person.
Yeah, maybe. I think it depends whether they mean personal self-esteem or bodybuilding self-esteem. I think they're quite different things.
Well, I think he's talking about how your personal self-esteem has changed or been affected by bodybuilding.
I'm probably more insecure physically in terms of socially.
Okay.
As in, I'm terrible at talking to women.
That's so fucking. Wait a minute before you go on. Wait, that's hilarious because I guarantee you, people watching would never guess that.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't. This is why it's a good thing to talk about.
Because a lot of people say, "Oh, how come you don't wear a tank top?" I'm like, I don't want to wear.
Fuck that. I mean, if you're in contest shape, walking around a fucking mall in a tank top, you're a fucking dick. Secondly, you look like such a freak.
I know.
Everyone, and it's not nice.
Can I tell you? Listen, like, so right now I don't feel big, right? I just feel like I'm down in size from my surgery, whatever. So I was running to the grocery store. And I didn't feel like changing. I already had a shirt like exactly like you're wearing.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm down in size. Nobody's going to notice. I'll run in and grab some stuff. There was like women like tugging at their husbands going like this. And I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. So yeah, I know what you mean by the insecurity in public.
It's not just that. It's like, especially like women don't like it.
No.
Women says it's such an extreme.
Yeah. And
it makes it very. I would feel if I went out on a date with a girl and I was wearing a fucking t-shirt, I'd feel really weird about it. Do
you feel like the women that do like it? And I hope this doesn't offend anybody because my wife's married to me too, so whatever. And I was big when she met me, but have you ever thought to yourself that a girl that likes you, there might be something wrong with her?
If they like me,
No,
yeah.
I'm being serious. I'm like,
No, because it's like you love huge boobs. Not every woman has boobs; they're quite rare. So a lot of women just like huge men.
yeah, but there's something wrong with
also,
something wrong with me. I'm a fucking huge pervert.
I also, if you notice that, I would say any women that do like bodybuilders and they like the muscle, they way prefer the off-season look than the pre-contest look.
You mean the girls that do, yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm more shy. I'm as a bodybuilder, I'm very confident, and in a bodybuilding scenario, I'm confident. In a real world, standing in the queue at the post office, I'm not very confident.
So you're saying your self-esteem, your personal self-esteem, has been affected negatively because of bodybuilding?
It's not negatively. It's just I'm a bit more conscious of things, and I'm also quite fucking scary looking. I keep being told because I like piercings in my face.
Well, you have holes in your ears and shit. Doesn't help.
And stuff, and it's people. I think that people just make an assumption instantly.
Okay, can I ask you? Listen to this. So, I don't like being fucking stared at, right? So this is the thing. A friend of mine says to me, or it might have been my brother, I can't remember. He says, "You don't like being stared at." I go, "No." He goes, "Then why do you drive a massive truck? Why do you have a fucking beard? Why do you have a piercing in your?" I had a piercing in my eye at the time.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Why do you have a fucking mohawk?" He goes, "And why are you 300 pounds?" He goes, "None of this is saying I want to hide."
Yeah. I mean, there is a truth to that, but it's
like, you think deep down we want to be looked at, but we really don't.
I mean, but maybe, but I think we do it for ourselves, and it's not for other people's judgment. We just do it for ourselves.
Yeah, but
I don't want. It's like I tell you what as well.
But people would think you were fucked up. They'd be like, "Look, you don't want to be stared at. Why do you have holes in your ears?"
It's a very good point. Something I've never thought about.
I'm telling you, I felt stumped when he told me.
Well,
I was like,
yeah, I am. I'm stumped right now because I wouldn't consider myself narcissistic in a way because I don't do this. I do this. I do it because bodybuilding's fucking cool. Honestly,
it's fun. It's fun. It's
cool. Being huge and a freak is cool.
Yeah,
and I enjoy the training. I enjoy the discipline. I enjoy everything. I don't do it for the validation of other people. I've never done it for women. I think that's what narcissism is. And vanity is when you do it for the women. And have you ever fucking seen me take selfies and stuff? It's so rare. I can't remember even doing one.
I think I'd like you to stop with the selfies. I take selfies.
No, I know. I just don't because I'm not that way.
I'm just joking. I don't care.
You've already told us you're narcissistic.
I'm not. Well,
but not in a negative. Not necessarily in a negative way.
I don't think there's a positive way to be a narcissist.
Yeah, no, but I don't think you're doing it. I think you're quite unaware of it. I don't think.
The selfie thing is honest. You want to know the honest truth why the selfie thing?
I'm more meant of my face in the car.
What?
I'm more meant, you know how like guys take photos, they've got this.
Oh, those ones where they're like, I look so good in my.
I'm more meant those, frankly.
No, those guys. No, I don't do that. But the selfie thing, honest to God, is just you have to put out so much content. I just don't have shit to post sometimes.
Yeah, I don't as well. I'm barely posting at the moment because I'm so busy with all the other shit going on behind this fucking phone.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like sometimes I'm like, I don't have anything to post. I'll just fucking take a picture.
I understand the bodybuilding selfies. That's a little bit different.
Yeah. Oh, I know what you mean. The good looking, like I'm wearing my shades and I'm making duck lips and I'm like,
yeah, all that shit. You're supposed to be, man, fuck off.
Okay, so
it's one of my bugbears, that is.
I think my my self-esteem has gotten a lot better, and it's not because of the size, because like you said, socially, I'm actually more insecure because I don't like people staring at me, and I feel weird when I'm talking to like the fucking waitress at a fucking restaurant or whatever. But in every other way, it's helped my self-esteem because it kind of teaches you to break through barriers. So like things I never thought I could do, I'm willing to take on a challenge now because of bodybuilding.
Yeah, I mean that to me is a whole different kind of self-esteem. That's more confidence. I thought we were talking about like more.
Yeah, well, I mean, self-esteem encompasses a lot of different things, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, I was only covering a small kind of part of that. But yeah, I mean, it certainly instills you with more confidence to do other things with it in your life and take more risks and have more confidence in what you pursue in other areas, like taking on a challenge. But in terms of like talking to women and everyone and like being that guy everywhere you go, that's a bit it gets old quick.
Do you relate everything to bodybuilding when you're taking on a challenge? Because I've started doing that.
I don't know.
Like for example, I want to start a business, and I'm like, well, it's just like a contest prep. You got to have a plan, and you got to do this every week. Somehow, everything I do, it like mentally goes back to.
That's absolutely fine, because that's how you instill discipline in your head. That's the way you get. So that's map to success in a way.
But do you do that at all or no?
I've started to, but I mean, I've only just recently started trying to branch out to other things. So
yeah. Okay, buddy. I think. Oh wait, let's do this. This is a. We'll end on a fun one.
Right.
Well, he's got two questions. He's got a bodybuilding and a bollocks, which I thought was pretty cool that he separated them.
Bodybuilding question and the bollocks question. That's pretty good.
We'll do the bodybuilding first. What's your preferred method of estrogen control?
Remison.
How much?
I just go off my blood work. So it depends on my estrogen ranges, and then I'll make a kind of guess from there.
I generally do 20 milligrams every other day.
I generally use nothing, but if I ever have to use anything, it'll be that.
Yeah, I've been there. I know what you mean.
Like, I don't ever need to. I've never had high estrogen.
So what do you just go by your blood work, or do you wait to see something like if you're retaining too much water or if you're sensitive?
I love it both. If I notice something's going on, I've never had the sensitivity ever. I've never it made me go any more watery than.
Okay.
But it's never been high, so that's probably why.
Okay. Well, we'll get to the bollocks question. What's your all-time favorite movie and why?
Oh, I fucking don't know.
Okay, I'll go first.
What's your favorite day? What's your favorite breath ever?
Well, I have a fucking answer for it.
Oh, yeah, well, go on then.
American Gangster.
That's quite good, yeah.
American Gangster. It has everything.
Probably Aliens. That's a masterpiece, that movie. Do not laugh.
No, it's a great movie.
Aliens is a fucking masterpiece.
Did you like it? Did you like Alien versus Predator?
I liked it because I'm a fan of both franchises, but the movie is technically shit.
So you like them separately, but you don't like it?
No, I know. I enjoyed it because it was just cool just to sit back and see Alien having a fight on screen. That was cool. It was a disappointingly shit movie.
All right. Okay, we're gonna wrap up this week.
Right.
Me and Luke both got to eat, and I'm doing a new thing. I don't know if you noticed, I'm tired as fuck. I am on a detox, like an organ, liver, kidney, everything detox.
Nice.
So I'm not allowed to have any caffeine. How the fuck am I going to train without caffeine?
Well, we'll see. How long is that for?
60 days.
Wow. Is that John's recommendation?
No, different expert, a different expert, but a very.
What are the reasonings, just out of interest? Because that's quite interesting.
If you want the full disclosure, the reasoning is my kidney levels are not where I want them. Okay. They're not horrible, but they're not where I want them. My blood pressure is a little higher than I would like.
Do you use any ACE inhibitors or anything?
I know. No.
That's actually something I just to interrupt you. That's something I learned from Justin Harris. He just said use lisinopril even if your blood pressure is fine.
You know, John told me that lisinopril. Yeah.
And I've used it, and my kidneys functions absolutely fine, and my blood pressure is fine.
See, I think my blood pressure is related to my kidney health.
Yeah.
So I don't want anybody to freak out. It's not bad. It's just I watch for trends.
You already said it's just not what you wanted.
Yeah, I watch for trends, and the trend is not going the way I want to.
Okay.
And caffeine, for those of you who don't know, anything toxic is going to be bad for your kidneys, but caffeine and stimulants obviously are a major issue. So the guy's like, and I don't want to name, it's not any problem. I just don't want to name any names in case he doesn't want his name out there. But he's like, I don't want you to use any caffeine. So I'm like, how the fuck am I going to do my cardio in the morning? And then every pre-workout you take pretty much that's any good has some caffeine in it.
Yeah, it's true.
So I'm like, I wonder what my training's going to be like.
I think in a few days you'll feel fucking brilliant.
I think so. You know what? I did this a long time ago, and I worked with Hani. Hani said to me he wanted me to cut out all the fat burners and all of this, everything for a little while, all the caffeine.
Yeah.
And I felt like shit for like 2 weeks, and then after that, I felt absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And I stayed that way for a long time, like training with no stimulants.
Yeah.
And then once I started again, I was hooked.
Yeah, I think also you probably started because you started getting tied into a prep again or something.
Yeah, it could have been something triggered it. Yeah.
You needed it, you know?
Yeah, so if I'm more tired during our little conversations, you know why now.
Same. I'm fucking shattered all the time.
Yeah, you look like shit. All right, go eat, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yes, we will. Bye. I hope you enjoyed the microphone.